Welcome in. It is your boy Stevie B from Views from the Stands, and we truly appreciate you turning into the show tonight on a Wednesday. I had a little bit of a hiccup yesterday, but we're are back and ready to roll with you guys today. And if you haven't noticed and you're watching on the screen, we are back to full strength. We have all the fellas in the building. We got the GM, G Mike, and we got Mr. BC. It's been a little bit since we've all been able to get together, and we have a jam-packed show for you today. We have a major surprise coming out of the NBA draft lottery. We have the NBA playoffs that is in full swing. Some major surprises going on. We got a new running back getting paid and making a little bit of history, as well as a quarterback retiring that kind of shocked the NFL world. We have a fun-filled down-bad debate of some of the best NBA duos in the league. We also have another fun down-bad debate for you, which is going to be which QB is going to have the best sophomore season. There's going to be a lot of fun, and we're really hoping that you guys can chime in, give your thoughts, give your opinions on everything that's going on. Before we get into all of that stuff, Mr. G Mike, I'm going to have you start us off, my man. How about you let the good people know what you got going on and how you're feeling tonight, my man?
Yes, sir. Guys, if you're into sports gambling, I run a Telegram channel where we offer daily slips to get you winnings from $10 to $50 to $100 a day. It's only $10 a month, but it comes with a good affiliation program so you can make money while still betting. I'll give you all the details and stuff. You'll see the link pop up in the chat, or if you're watching the recorded episode, you'll see the link pop up on the screen, or my social media accounts where you can slide in my DM. So we'll start a conversation on how to get you going and how to make money for you, babe.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Who doesn't always love a little bit extra chump change in the pocket? And it's been a little bit since I've been able to say it. Mr. BC, back in the building, my man. Let the people know what you got going on, my friend.
Man, you guys already know if you've been watching long enough. We're about, 40, views number 43 today. 43! Anyway, if you guys been watching us long enough, you guys already know that this isn't I, man. We got our small little, not mom and pop, but husband and wife business down here in Central Florida. We got brands.media. We got your wedding photography, videography. We got engagements. We got family formals. We've got even graduations because it's coming up. You never know. Some of them have probably already passed. You guys have already kind of missed your chance there, but it's okay. For those that haven't, hit us up at brandes.media. That's where you can find the link. All of our portfolios, all of the events we've covered. You can kind of see what our photography, videography style is like. And if we're a match for you, we'll be able to help you make memories that last a lifetime. That's brandes.media.
Absolutely, man. We got a couple other people we need to shout out. First and foremost, we are officially now on iHeartRadio, so please give us a like and subscribe on there. Check us out. It's worldwide, so that's a big move for us. We also got some new ventures coming up pretty soon as well. We'll be getting into that probably more towards the end of the show. So we're just on the rise, man. And on top of it, two guys has been riding with us for a while, man. We got Varsity Sports Nation, man. We've been doing really great out there. We really support the support from Varsity. Man, if you want some high school sports, they got you, man. You want college sports, they got you. You want content like you're watching on the screen right now or listening to, they got you, man. The best part is it's on a convenient app, man. You can download it on your iOS, your Android, your Roku, your Apple TV, Fire TV, social medias as well, man. Catch all the shows on like ours and many other content on demand. We really appreciate it out there, and thank you for Varsity Sports for supporting us and support them as well. And last but not least as well, we have Millions.co. It's been a great partnership with us. They've been helping us out with Reels and just a great content that if you want to get to talk to athletes, this is your best way, man. They have a lot of interviews and a lot of interview-based stuff. So it's really, really cool. So we want to show support. Everybody's been supporting us. And as we're on it, we wouldn't be we'd be reluctant if we didn't actually say, but please, if you give us a like and subscribe, we've been really making a lot of momentum, and we really appreciate everything you guys have done for us, and continue to watch and tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody you know. It's a great fun sports show that we're just trying to get the word out there, man. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on, and we have some new stuff coming up, man. So we're going to go ahead and get into some news. What do you guys think?
Let's do it,
sir.
All right, man. We had a big thing that happened over the last couple days. We had the NBA draft lottery, and this one was a major shocker to a lot of people. And if you haven't heard yet, my Dallas Mavericks end up with the number 1 overall pick after having a 1.8% chance to win it. That's San Antonio Spurs coming in at number 2, the Philadelphia 76ers at 3, Charlotte Hornets at 4, and number 5, the Utah Jazz. We have a screen up there, a graphic up if you want to see all the way 1 through 14. This was pretty big. This was really interesting. I will go last because I'm sure I have a lot to say, but there's been a lot of people out there. Speculation and all this different stuff. I'll save the best for last.
Go first. Go first. Go first. We want to hear how excited you are about this.
I'm actually extremely excited, man. This is just a big thing for Dallas, man. It's been such an up and down season. If you go the last 2 seasons, man, the Dallas was about a mid-tier team, it seemed like, last season, and then they make some trades, and then they make this a magical run to the finals. They get beat by Boston in the finals because Boston was just a flat-out better team. There's no way around it. Midway through, we also can get rid of not even past us at the trade deadline. We get rid of Luka Doncic. Heartbreaking to everybody. Apparently, Nico Harrison did not realize that it meant that much to all the Dallas fans. Still can't believe he actually had the nerve to actually say that one. But having said that, we end up getting Anthony Davis and a couple other picks, but nothing really to get excited about. So most Dallas fans were in the doom and gloom. I'll be completely honest. I didn't even think they had a chance at this at all. They had, like I was saying from the start, they had a 1.8% chance to actually land the number 1 overall pick, and it actually worked. And I know there's a lot of people out there that's doing the whole speculation thing, and the last couple of times someone's made a major trade to the Lakers. They end up with the first pick. I've heard all these conspiracy things. So I thought I'd look into this a little bit more. This goes back to even last year. The Atlanta Hawks had a 3% chance to get the number 1 overall pick, and they got it. This isn't the first time a team that's had almost no chance to get it has got it. Orlando Magic back in 1993. The New Orleans Pelicans did the same thing. Now, granted, that had a little bit to do with the Lakers thing, which feeds people with conspiracy, but that's what this whole system is based off of. That even if you're one of the lower end teams, you have a chance to make yourself better. And the thing that's great about this is that the Dallas Mavericks has made it very clear they do not plan on getting rid of the pick, and they are going straight after Cooper Flagg. So this lineup is going to be very, very interesting. You're going to have Cooper Flagg, AD, Kyrie Irving, and whatever other pieces they're able to pull together in the offseason. Cooper Flagg seems like he's very excited and was shocked that he's going to be able to go to a team that's ready to compete right off the bat. I just think it's really interesting, man. I'm excited. I'm hoping that this actually works out, and this is going to be really cool for Dallas. Dallas needs it. This has been a huge gut wrench and a huge gut punch after losing Luka. I've heard rumors that they're still trying to come up with ideas on how to get Luka back. I don't see that one happening. I think they're moving forward, and I think this is what Nico wanted, more of a larger, bigger team. And Cooper Flagg can play a little bit better, can play better defense than Luka can. He's an interesting character, man. He has a lot of different skills that Luka had and doesn't have. So I think this is going to be a huge step in the right direction for the Dallas Mavericks. BC, you're up top, my man. What's your thoughts on this one, and how do you think the draft fared out?
I mean, for Dallas, it can't be, like you said, after getting pretty much the biggest gut punch in the last decade easily in team history, this is the best news for them that they could have ever had. So you're getting a guy that is basically, again, a lot's to be seen, but if we're going by pre-draft measurables, combine stats, and everything like that, he's a great fill-in as far as like what Luka was expected to be coming into the NBA. A little bit taller, a little bit quicker, a little bit better defender, just as good of a shooter and everything like that. But again, obviously we got to see how his skills translate to the league. But as far as prospects go, it doesn't really get much better, especially in this year's draft. So for Dallas, for you guys, it's a great option for sure. Whether or not it's conspiracies, we can talk about that another time. But tin hats and everything. I'm all out of tinfoil, so I can't put it on right now. But I am happy though for you guys, because again, it seemed like after the Doncic trade, everybody, even us, we kind of took a few little shots here and there. It's just like, oh, sorry there, buddy, But it is good though to see you guys like Dallas is a proud franchise. They've had a lot of greats come through there, and it sucked for sure seeing you guys lose your franchise. But now you've got somebody young you can build around. Hopefully, though, Nico doesn't screw this one up and you guys lose them to the Lakers in like 5 years. Hopefully.
Hopefully
Ouch.
not. Um, Man, this is great for the Mavs for sure. It's great for the
Yeah.
Mavs. Cooper Flag, he's gonna be a generational talent for sure. The guy can score, he can defend, he's quick, he's 6'10". You know, he's gonna be paired up great with AD if AD does stay in Dallas. Having Kyrie at the guard position, even though he probably won't play till the end of the season, coming down the tail end of next season. You still got Clay there for another 2 years. You got a good few role players that can actually like help compete with anybody in the West. Hopefully, Daniel Gafford gets to stay there as well. That would be a good 1-2 punch with him and Derek Lively. So it's a good move for the Mavs for sure. I think they should use the number one pick on Cooper Flag. If they don't, maybe trade it away for someone like Devin Booker or Tyrese Maxey or Giannis. Maybe try to use that leverage right there for teams that are trying to contend right now, but they need to make some moves with their team and try to get some more pieces, some young pieces. Um, when it comes down to the conspiracy thing, though, I don't know, man. I think it just solidifies right there that the NBA is just rigged on this part with the lottery, bro. And in my opinion, honestly, they should get rid of the lottery, bro. Why is it that a play-in team, they made this whole play-in tournament 2-3 years ago where a team in 10th seed can have a chance of getting into the playoffs, but then now a team with a chance in the play-in gets the number one pick in the NBA draft? I don't
Yep.
think that's fair at all. I think they should go the way that the NFL draft goes, and the worst team in the league gets the number one pick. That's it.
Yeah.
Think it as fair it is for everybody to try to compete with each other at least. Because right now, Cooper Flag will probably be going to the Washington Wizards or the Charlotte Hornets, and maybe they can compete in the East, in a weaker East. Obviously, the West is the strong suit, but in a weaker East, you put them in the Washington Wizards. Maybe they could get the 10th seed, and
No.
maybe they can get into the play-in. Maybe, but now you take that chance away. I'm going to say, you give it to the Dallas Mavericks, because how is it that the Dallas Mavericks get the number one pick after they trade away their superstar player to a franchise that has had a superstar player since they've been around, since we could think the beginning of time with the NBA? And now they just get it out of nowhere. They get the number one pick after trading away their superstar to a team that's always had a superstar. I don't know. It sounds like some collusion. Sounds like some collusion there for you fantasy sports players. I know you know about collusion. It sounds like it to me. I don't know. But
I
my
mean,
tinfoil hat is in the kitchen. I just don't want to get it right.
yeah. And I mean, you even look back to the history of the lottery, the very first lottery, the whole note from the what is it? The envelope that had New York's pick was dented. And how convenient for the Knicks to be able to get a franchise-changing center in the biggest market in sports. Patrick
And they
Ewing,
didn't
like
do shit with it.
exactly. I mean, they made it to an NBA Finals once. Got absolutely dog walked, but
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to be, it did happen. It worked off my team. So I will take the other approach that I could see where people would maybe have some sort of, feel a certain way about it. I can understand that. I'm not going to be totally naive and act like I don't. But having said that, though, you're completely right. If people don't like this, they need to change the way the lottery is, because this ultimately does give anybody the chance. Now, my other point would have been, who was in that, who had a chance at it as well, was Oklahoma City. So would have people been up in arms with Oklahoma City because they've been bad for so long and been able to draft really well? Would that have been a problem now because they're good? Like it's a battle that people are fighting, and it's only just because it has to do with the Lakers. If Luka got traded to the Bucks or the Pacers or a little bit of a smaller market team, I don't think the issue would have been even a problem. I don't think anybody would have had much to say about it. But it's the fact it's the Lakers, and either you love it or hate the Lakers. So I think that's where part of this conspiracy theory is growing from, that they want the major markets. So like you were talking about Patrick Ewing and the Knicks, you got, obviously the Lakers always seem like they end up with stars. So I could see where that would be, but the whole point of it is, as well, is that San Antonio still ended up with the second pick, and they were awful as well. So, it still kind of worked out in the way, and San Antonio has 2 picks in this top 14 draft. So they're going to be able to rebuild pretty fast, and they have one of the greatest players greatest young players. Hopefully health conditions work out with Wemby. But if they land on these next 2 draft picks and they have a big 3 in 3 years, is that a problem now? So I just feel like it's an argument that people want to have just because it has the Lakers in it. It'd be the same thing if it happened to the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers. These large market teams. People just hate whenever they do it. But then here's the flip side of it, though. Here's the absolute flip side of this thing too: is that everybody's kind of worried right now because no major market team will be getting into the playoffs. There's very little. The New York Knicks are probably the largest market team right now going, and if they happen to lose in there, Indiana and Minnesota, is that really driving ratings up at all? But yet people would be excited if the small guy gets it, but then they'll be mad if they actually make it to the finals because they're good now. So it's kind of a lose-lose, I feel like sometimes.
No, yeah, it definitely is. And just going back, we watch the NBA. I'm just gonna speak on the NBA in general, right? We watch the NBA because we love watching basketball. We love watching some sort of player. People in general, they have a liking to a certain player, a certain team, or just a sport itself, right? But at the end of the day, it's a business. And just like any other business, you have to market. You have to look at what brings in the money. You have to look at all the numbers, all the analytics. And when it comes down to it, the Los Angeles Lakers are one of the biggest reasons why the NBA is so big and will continue to grow, because they have so much history and they continue to have success. They continue to bring in players. They have one of the greatest players ever played on an NBA court in their arena on every given home game in their roster. And now they bring in an international superstar talent from the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers, and they bring more revenue that way. They're trying to be a global sport, which they are already, but they're trying to be even bigger with the audience, right? You bring in an international superstar like Luka Doncic, trust me, that's going to bring in more money for the sport and the business itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so if you're look on the graphic on here and stuff, if you look at these teams in here, so I guess I'm just trying to go off of why people are making a big deal of how the Mavericks ended up with it and everything like that. So if you have Houston Rockets at number 10 in here, Houston Rockets were the number 2 seed in the West. Did they really need the number 1 overall pick? But you can't get upset when some of these guys, they made a lot of moves and made trades to be able to make these things happen, to be able to still be able to rebuild. So, Philadelphia is the number 3 pick in here. How many times has Philadelphia been picking in the top 5 in the last 2 decades or last 10 decades, and they don't do anything with it? And that's another thing a point that needs to be made is if you look at the number 1 overall pick history, especially in the NBA, it doesn't always pan out. I think Cooper Flag is a rarity, and I think Cooper Flag will work out. But if you look through these number 1 overall picks, it doesn't all of a sudden mean that you're going to get the number 1 overall player in the draft. You don't always land on Apollo. You don't always end on a LeBron or, I was looking back on it just to look at percentages of it. The Cleveland Cavaliers end up drafting Anthony Bennett. How many years did he even play? In the NBA, if at all, really, and they end up winning the draft lottery. So it doesn't always mean that you're going to make the right decision and get the right pick just because you end up with the number 1 overall pick. We were just talking about how great Luka is. Luka was number 6, and it came out for a trade as well. So sometimes these guys fall. So I think that the system is I don't really like the draft lottery system. I think it's kind of silly to me, really. I don't like the ping pong idea. I get what they're trying to do and give everybody pretty much a fair chance because the NBA kind of was in a point in time that was very much into the tanking situation, trust the process and all. And so they're trying to break that up, I feel like. But they probably can come up with something else, even if it's the like you were talking about the NFL, how the guests go from worst to first and so on and so forth. But I think there should be some sort of change to it. I don't necessarily like it. And until that happens, you're going to have teams like the Dallas Mavericks who were arguably in a playoff team. If they would have never lost Luka, it would have been a different story. They would not have been able to have this pick, but they made a bold move at that. I would not have made it, but they did make a bold move. And now it worked out in their favor that they had a 1.8% chance. That's why you play it. That's why you play the lottery. That's why you play any of these things. You end up winning. 1.8 better is better than 0%.
True.
Yeah, it's just funny to me how they trade away their superstar and the next draft they get the number 1 pick.
Right. I am not going to be super naive and like totally Dallas Mavericks fan on this one and be like, oh, what are you talking about? I understand where the narrative could be. I'm not like totally naive with it. All I'm saying is that what Herm Edwards say, you play to win the game. They took a chance, they made it, and then it worked out in their favor. I mean, so if San Antonio would have got it again, like I was saying, they have one of the best players already in Wemby. They made a huge trade, get here in Fox. So if they got the number 1 overall pick again and got Cooper and Wemby, is that a problem for San Antonio? Like it's just it doesn't really work out. It sucks for Dallas. They lost Luka, but I think that this is just a rarity. It worked out. I mean, what else can you say? It does seem a little bit odd. I can give it that, but I think it just worked out.
Yep. Well, now it's time to see just how good Dallas really is going to be. You get gifted with 2 potential generation talents in Cooper Flag and Luka Doncic. You already screwed it up with Luka. If you mess this one up, Nico, gone.
Okay, yeah, so and I think
I just wanted to ask you, as a Dallas Mavericks fan, would you prefer keeping the number 1 pick and selecting Cooper Flag, or trading it away to try to get another superstar on your squad?
So I've been trying to go debating this one for the last couple of days since it was pretty much announced that Dallas has already kind of said they're not going to give away. But it's GMs. Whoever thought Luka was even on the table to get traded as well. So these guys aren't always
going to show their cards.
Right. I highly doubt that they're going to make this move. But having said that, I kind of think that the way Nico wants to build the team, and if that's the guy that's in charge, then Cooper Flag makes sense because he wants a big defensive team. Now, if it was Mark Cuban, how Mark Cuban liked to play, and when Donnie Nelson was in charge and all that stuff back in the day, they were a lot more fast-paced, and I think that it would have been a lot smarter to get rid of that pick and get a bunch of faster-paced guards and stuff in there. But I think if Nico's going to be in charge of making all these decisions, and his vision is that he wants a big defensive team that you can't score on them, but they can score on you, then Cooper Flag makes the most sense. You could possibly trade him for like a Giannis, possibly, but I don't think that Giannis fits into what they want to do either, because you already have the big man there for it. I mean, the Cooper Flag plays a little bit more agile. You know what I'm saying? He can almost be like a point forward. I think this makes the most sense for them to keep him and build around what they got. Maybe get another high profile scorer and a guard. Even a number 2. Klay Thompson has played the Klay Thompson pickup. I thought it was going to be a lot better than it was. Klay Thompson's kind of, getting past his prime and it's kind of showing in there. Kyrie, hopefully he can come back. They need to get another guard. If they're going to land Cooper Flag, which it looks like they will, either via in the offseason at a free agency, get a score, and this will make a lot of sense, or with the next pick, then draft another guard or something. They're going to have to get, I think, just another score to help out Kyrie because he's going to be coming back off that injury as well. So I think, yes, the answer to your question, I think keep the pick, get Cooper Flag. Only reason I would not even consider it is because Nico Harris wants to do a bigger bigger team in this, and he's a bigger forward that can almost play like the point forward. So I think it makes sense the way he wants to design his team.
I was going to ask, do you think then it would be smart, because you're going to keep the pick with Cooper Flag? You talk about building around Cooper. Are you going to try to still keep some of these veterans like a Kyrie and an AD? Do you think you could still win with that core? Do you think it's better to just kind of blow it up and just, tank for a little bit, or roll with what you got?
I think you roll with what you got, especially because you roll with what you got, because if you're going to already get rid of AD, then you essentially gave rid of Luka for absolutely nothing. I think that they had this in the vision that they wanted a big defensive, taller, a bigger defensive team, and this is what they're building right now. And it happened to work out in their favor that they got a bigger player. I mean, could you imagine this lineup though? If you just break it down out there, Derek Lively, Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag, and then maybe Gafford out there at the same time. Like, how the hell are you going to be able to get in the paint on that? Like, they're all monsters of dudes. So it just becomes out of scoring. And if Klay Thompson can get his rhythm back and shoot better, and Kyrie can shoot better, that's going to be a really tough team to go against.
Well, and also too, again, we talked about Flag being a good defender and like a point forward and everything, but he can score too, and he can shoot. He's pretty efficient from all over the floor. So he's got a good true shooting percentage, and I like his ability to space the floor. Maybe take some pressure off of Klay, and maybe help Klay kind of find his rhythm again a little bit going into next year.
It's going to be definitely interesting.
So I'm always in the mindset of win now. right? Which is why, like, sometimes I argue with a lot of Heat fans because they were talking about right now. I don't know if you know the whole controversy, but that pick is supposed to be ours. I don't know if you know that, but that Mavericks pick is supposed to be ours, and we're supposed to have the number one pick if we didn't make it in the play, right?
Yeah.
But I'm always in the tone of trying to win now, and I feel like I would trade away that number one pick and try to get Devin Booker or Tyrese Maxey, right? Because I'm just trying to win now. And I feel like that trade for AD, sending away Luca, was because you're trying to win now. Because
Mhm.
AD's already, what, 28, 29? Kyrie's already 30, 31. Like, they're already either entering into the 30s or already in their 30s, right? So it's like, how long are you going to wait to try to win a championship? Not saying that Cooper Flag can't get you there, because I think he can. I think he can bring scoring. He can bring defense, right? But I rather have a solidified, and in this sense, a solidified guard who can give me 20, 25, even 30 points per game, paired up next to AD, paired up next to Kyrie when it comes back healthy, a Klay Thompson who's at the end of his career, but he could still shoot a 3-pointers when you need him. PJ Washington, he's a great defender and he's a 3-point guy as well. Keep Daniel Gafford so you could have those twin towers right next to AD, and Derek Lively, another athletic big. I feel like that team put together is just great for success. Cooper Flag, yes, he's gonna for sure he's gonna influence that as well. But then you're gonna have a fourth big that you're gonna have to put into those roles. When I rather have a guard who can be quick, who could shoot the three, and he could be elusive and a playmaker as well as Kyrie. But I get why people want to keep Cooper Flag for sure, and especially Mavericks fans, 100%. I'm just saying that I think I would trade away the pick to get a superstar guard in return right now.
I could see it. I could definitely see it. I think there's definitely an argument to be made on both sides of that one for sure. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be up here saying that I don't think that the thought not crossed my mind of, okay, what can we get for this now? Is this our opportunity? Like you brought up a Giannis, something like that. Could you bring something like a guy like that in here? But I feel like that if you believe in what Cooper Flag, the potential and how they're hyping him up, then you keep it because you've already got rid of one of those guys already. You had one of those guys in your building, and he is a definitely different than Luka, and the aspect of like, and not even going to go on the Luka out of shape that a bit again or something like that. But if you look at the two of them, Cooper Flag is definitely a lot more lean and ready to go. Luka, no matter what, even coming in, MVP of the EuroLeague, all that stuff, he never was in that great a shape going in. Luka is still one of my all-time favorite players, and I will still always be a Luka Doncic fan. But this is where this actually seems like, okay, maybe Nico was on the right track. Maybe Nico knew something that we all didn't know, and that's why they pulled the trigger, and it worked out in their favor that they were able to get another generational talent is what most people seem to think. So I think that's why you kind of have to keep this pick so that it keeps, the fans a little bit excited that, hey, we did this for a reason. We ended up winning the draft lottery. We got the pick. We got the guy to replace Luka that can do things that Luka can't do because he's a hell of a lot better defender, it seems like. And if you remember going back to the Olympics, they invited Cooper Flag. And the reports coming out was when he was playing with all those vets, he was dominating. Like LeBron, all these guys came back saying, like, this kid is the real deal. Like, he is something special. And he showed highlights and flashes of it in the March Madness tournaments and in his whole season. So I think that's one of those things you kind of have to keep this pick just for that reason. So it gives fans a little bit of peace of mind that saying, hey, we had a chance at another worldly talent and we gave it away for another player or something, So I think it just shows the loyalty for a Dallas fan, which they need right now.
So are you saying you agree with the conspiracy? Is that what you're saying?
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
No, I do not believe in the conspiracy. I think that I could see where people would make the calls with it and draw the lines together. But no, I don't. I think they just happened to get lucky and it worked out. But you can also say being a Mavs homer, I get it. You can say that on the comments all you want to find. I understand it. But this isn't the first time this has happened. It happened even as last year. 3% chance to win. Atlanta Hawks won it. Nobody seemed to be up in arms about it.
It's exactly what someone who'd be in on the conspiracy would say.
right? For you guys that are watching for you guys that are watching the live, let us know what you think. Should they trade away the number one pick to get someone else, or should they keep him and choose Flag? Let us know.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on from that one, man, and we are going to move on back to the NFL, man. We had some pretty big news. This one came out a few days ago, so it's forgive us, it's a little bit behind here, but we're just want to comment on it a little bit. We had a surprise in the NFL. Derek Carr is calling it a career, man. Derek Carr finished his career with a 65.1% winning percentage, 41,245 yards. That's a lot for Derek Carr, man. Derek Carr had a cannon for an arm. He had 257 touchdowns, 112 interceptions, and a QB rating of a career, which I found this to be fascinating, man, 92.8. That's not too bad of a career, man. And a lot of people will, boo-hoo on Derek Carr and say he wasn't that great, but 92.8 as a career for your QBR is pretty damn good. And on top of it, too, he was a slight journeyman. He didn't miss too many games. He played in almost every games. He the only time he got hurt was whenever he really got to pretty much New Orleans. And then he had that controversy where he got shut down in the Raiders, but that was the writing on the wall. They were going to be getting rid of him, and that wasn't his doing or anything. G Mike, what's your thoughts on Derek Carr, man? Do you think this is it? Do you think he's done, or do you think that he's going to ride it out because of the shoulder injury and see what happens next year?
I think he's done, man, because like the injury that he has is his rotator cuff and his throwing arm, right? So when you have an injury like that, that's gonna literally derail your skills in throwing accuracy, throwing pressure, and like just getting the ball to the guys at the right moments and stuff like that. Like it's gonna affect them big time. So I see why he's retiring. Like he doesn't want to be just trying to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying to show that he's still worth it, because he can be, but his rotator cuff is not going to let him. His arm is not going to let him. His shoulder, his injury is not going to let him. So it's going to be like he's just going to be going through the years, through the motions, and then his career is going to be plummeting, and people are going to forget how you just brought up all those stats and how great he was in the beginning of his career towards the mid, and then obviously at the end, the tail end, it digressed so much. So he doesn't want to be known for that, right? And I get it. Like you don't want to end your career on a really bad note. You rather end it on a note that you're like, yo, you know what? I did what I could. I tried my best and I gave it my all.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. It's the thing is that the only reason I think that there might be a chance that he possibly come back, he's 34. And let's face it, NFL guys, especially quarterbacks, are playing later on into their years. But I think you're on the right track, though, that this injury is a little bit different than most of the guys that's later on in their careers, BC, man, what's your thoughts on this one? Derek Carr, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I will say, as far as like in his family, he's definitely the better of the two Carr brothers for sure. Like if y'all remember way back, David Carr for Houston, I think still the most sacks a quarterback's ever taken in a single season. That was awful year for him. But I know, but 4-time Pro Bowler, nothing to laugh at. He had some good seasons in Oakland for sure. I think that had he just been, he was never really going to be one of those elite quarterbacks, but he was still a good quarterback. He's a guy that if you could surround with talent, you could surround him with guys like Devontae Adams, like some good talent, then he can definitely win you some games. As far as being good enough to carry a squad on his own, I mean, aside from, I want to say 2 seasons and never had more than 10 wins. So he's always kind of struggled as far as team success. But again, like you said, 257 touchdowns to only 112 interceptions. That's nothing to laugh at, and 40,000 yards. It does show that he did have some longevity in his career. And, again, it sucks to see him go. But like G Mike said, when your rotator cuff's gone as a quarterback, when it's that banged up, there's really not much else you can do. And you kind of want to save yourself. Like, what's the point in continuing to play if you're just, by the time you retire, you can't do anything with that arm at any point. You can't go play with your kids. You can't go throw with them and anything like that. That's one of the reasons why, I think we've been seeing a lot of players retire early, is because they want to be, they got their money, they got their bag, go take care of your family, go spend time with them. Don't beat up your body any more than it already has. And, for all the guys like Tom Brady that we applaud, that we respect so much and put up on such a high pedestal for longevity and being able to make all the sacrifices necessary, I think it's also important to notify the guys that they got their bag, they did their thing, but they also chose health and long-term well-being over, another like 3 or 4 years of, sub 500 football.
Yeah, especially on the Saints too, because I feel like the Saints were I think that the Saints are probably going to be the worst team in the league. We can go into that later on for sure. I just think the way the Saints did this draft, I hated the way they drafted. We can get into a lot more of the Saints actually talk. We get into divisions here in the next couple month or so, something like that. But I think the Saints are this is going to be a major blow for them. I mean, they hopefully believe in their guy Tyler Shook that they took. They had the opportunity to get Shador. I don't. This one looks even worse that they maybe didn't draft Shador. The granted, it is t-shirt and shorts football right now, but the reports coming out of Cleveland is Shador actually looks pretty damn good. They had the opportunity to get him and they didn't. And I don't know if they knew if Derek Carr was going to do this, and it just seems like really doom and gloom for the Saints. Can I interest you guys in a little conspiracy because since I'm already on the conspiracy right here?
I feel like I already know where you're going with this, but entertain me.
Do you now? It's not even necessarily a conspiracy here, but I will check this one out here. Okay, a little bit of just a hypothetical and a thought here. Saints are going to be the worst team in the league coming up next year. You know who's going to be the number 1 overall pick next year and bring the lineage back to the Saints? Arch Manning. And if that name sounds familiar, it is because Arch Manning played for the New Orleans Saints. Would that not be the biggest turnaround that the team needs? They have a bad season. They get the savior coming back in. The Mannings have a bunch of they have a bunch of lineage back in New Orleans. The dad played there. How fitting would that one be that he ends up playing for where old Grandpappy played for, man? Just saying the writing's on the wall for that one as well.
I mean, honestly, it'd be fun to kind of see that happen. And the Manning name is a treasured legacy. Although, you got to go up against the Bucks twice a year, so that'd be pretty fun as well to welcome them and be like, yeah, 5 sacks, enjoy your day.
All right, so we have to do this. I feel like after anybody retires, Derek Carr, Hall of Famer, BC, yes, no,
no.
That was pretty quick. No chance at all.
No chance.
No, I mean, again, that's not to poo-poo on his career. Again, you have
great. He was so great.
Yeah, it was a Hall of very good, but not great enough to make the Hall. And there's nothing wrong with having a career like that.
You made the league, dog. You made the league.
Yes. When you were a 4-time Pro Bowler, 40,000 yards, 250 touchdowns, like that's nothing to sneeze. And
there was a year that Derek Carr was in the MVP conversation too. Is that year that he ended up? I think he was like breaking this leg, like he was balling out, and I want to say broke his leg or something. He had a pretty bad injury towards the end of the season that kind of derailed it. But Derek Carr did have some great moments in the NFL. So I kind of agree with you guys. I don't think that he will probably be able to make the Hall of Fame, but not every player makes the Hall of Fame. That's what makes the Hall of Fame special. But it's not saying your career wasn't amazing as well. All right, guys. Well, heading from one Derek to another Derek, and Derrick Henry, who I think we all can agree will probably be one day in the Hall of Fame. Just signed an extension with the Baltimore Ravens of 2 years at $25 million in guaranteed money, but he signed for 2 years, $16 million contract. Man, this is awesome news for Derrick Henry. I'm super excited for him. I think that I wish he'd going to have been playing his whole career in Baltimore. I think he just absolutely fits with that Baltimore culture. He just looks like a Baltimore Raven to me every single time he's out there. I think he's still got a lot of juice left in him, and I think 2 years is a great deal for him because that line is still good. They were on the brink last year. I think that they could be getting even better this year. BC, buddy, we got Derrick Henry re-signing another contract. Man, you like this or not?
Oh, I love it. Perfect fit. And, we were looking at the stats and everything. That's the largest contract for a running back over the age of 30, most guaranteed money. So, again, we don't really see a lot of running backs have much more traction after the age 30. That's kind of the falling off point for most RBs, but Derrick Henry just keeps going. And for his play style as well, somebody that relies as much on physical contact and strength as much as he does, you would think by the age of 30, he'd have some countless surgeries. He'd be a shell of his former self, but he keeps chugging along. Freight train keeps going. King Henry just keeps reigning supreme over the league pretty much. And I'm happy to see it, and again, we talked about, Hall of Fame, 11,000 yards, over 100 touchdowns. Like the only thing that's missing on that resume, and I believe he's got an Offensive Player of the Year or two on there as well. The one thing that you can say that's missing from his career, Super Bowl championship. And I know he's in probably the best possible situation to win one in Baltimore.
Mike, same question, buddy.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's not really much to say. You guys hit it up right on the head, but just to extend it a little bit further, like just how BC said, like he's on the best possible scenario that he could be in. I mean, that offense is great. They just had a little hiccups, against the Buffalo Bills, and they could have easily won that game. They could have gone, a little bit further. But I think they have a good, well-oiled offense when it comes to passing and running, and the offensive line knows how to pass block and run block. The coach is a Hall of Fame coach. Lamar Jackson, two-time MVP, or three, whatever the case is. I mean, dude, like the writing is there for them to win it, bro. They just need to execute a little bit better and do less turnovers. And bro, they could be Super Bowl bound either this year, next year, or the year after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes what's awesome about having King Henry there, and I almost kind of wish he could have got out of Tennessee before he did, just because Tennessee had a couple good runs, and then whenever it was done for Tennessee, it was pretty much done. They had a couple really down years for Henry, but having said that, my point was that I think that Lamar and Derrick Henry on the same team is such a hard thing for defensive coordinators to be able to stop. Who are you supposed to stop in that one? The Lamar Jackson is so elusive. You have to respect his running ability. And even if you pack the box against Derrick Henry, he's too damn strong. You need at least 2 to 3 guys to bring him down. If you can catch him in the right stride, then that's the only way you can stop him. If he gets ahead of steam, you're not stopping that guy with one guy. It's almost physically impossible.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting concept, and I wish he could have been there a little bit earlier in his career. It would have been great to see what them two guys could have done together.
I think for sure, if you have him on those Ravens teams, they give the Chiefs fits. You might see them on be able to upset them on one of the weak years for Kansas City. But yeah, it is such a dangerous combo to have. Usually on defense, you're geared towards stopping one play style, another on one play. You either, like you said, stacking the box, and it's either you're trying to get your faster guys being able to contain Lamar, or you got all your bigger guys trying to be able to bring down Henry. But it's so rare to have that option where you can kind of pick your poison on one play like you have with Baltimore. It's like either option, you're screwed. You better guess right on who's getting the ball, or you're pretty much getting gashed for 10+ yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, do you guys think there's any sign that he makes a downfall, or you think this line is going to be able to protect him enough that he's going to be able to still be dominant?
He takes care of himself enough, I think, as well, in addition to how good the team's set up. He's one of those guys that can be at least 3 to 4, maybe even 5 more years of getting 1,000+ yards in a season.
He could easily play till he's 40 and still be a Pro Bowler, for sure.
Could we possibly see maybe Emmitt Smith might need to? Yeah, Emmitt Smith might need to keep his head on a swivel there. Might have his rushing record in trouble.
I think Derrick Henry is probably the only active player that has a chance to do it. I would have said Saquon if Saquon would have played for Philly this entire time, then Saquon probably would have done it. But Saquon is at that that age where I think that he missed so many years when he was playing with the Giants that he couldn't have been able to get the numbers that he had last year. That numbers that he had last year will probably come down as far as touchdowns, but his rushing ability, I think that's still going to be a thing. And I think Saquon could have maybe challenged that, but he just spent too much time in New York without being able to get it. I think Derrick Henry, on the other hand, because the focal point of the offense was Derrick Henry, and he was so dominant for so long, he actually has a chance. And I think you guys are completely right. The fact that he takes care of his body so well. It's the physical contact is different because he is so damn big and strong that it works out for him. And hell, he could even move back and can you imagine that being your goal line back, or being your red zone guy, because he's not really going to fumble the ball. He's too damn good for that too. So I think his career can last for quite some time. As far as him being dominant, I think he probably has 3 to 4, maybe at the absolute most, but probably 3 more really good ones. But if he moves up, like they bring somebody else in to give him a little bit more rest, that could be a hell of a guy for many more years to come.
Yeah, he's got about 7,000 yards to catch. Emmitt Smith, I don't know how many touchdowns that would have to be, but yeah, he's on the right track for sure.
Well, hell, if the NFL keeps on adding games, it might be able to add another take like a season or 2 off or so, But
yep.
All right, fellas. Well, that's going to do it for the news, man. And we are going to jump into these NBA playoffs, man. And it has been a wild playoffs. Yeah, man, it has been a wild set of playoffs, man. We're going ahead and go out to the East because we got some news out there, man. The Indiana Pacers have taken out the Cleveland Cavaliers. They beat them 4-1. So Indiana, baby, yeah, let's go. And fellas, I'm really liking Indiana, man. BC, how did you expect any of this? Did you think Indiana was going to be able to pull this off? Thoughts on this one being over now?
I did not, but as far as initial thoughts go, as far as now that we've had some time to process the series, the biggest gap, because most of the games were pretty like the points per game spread 117 to 114, pretty close. But the biggest margin that I'm seeing is in field goal percentage and overall 3-point percentage. 13-point shooting percentage difference from outside. Who would have thought in the modern NBA that shooting threes is the key to beating the Cleveland Cavaliers? Orlando Magic, take notes. Just saying. Like that's what killed us last year. Didn't learn our lesson going into this year. That's all I'm going to say before I get myself any more trouble. But shooting, it was the key. Again, Cleveland, they got a good defensive team. They're great at being able to smother you from the point of attack. They're able to reject you at the rim. They like to slow it down and grind it out. So how do you stop that? Make your shots. Be able to go mid-range, try to attack the rim as best you can. But if you can hit your 3-point shots on their smaller guards, because I love D-Mitch, I love Darius Garland, but they are about 6'3" and under. That's going to be the key. Dominate with your height from outside, shoot over the top of them. That's how you're going to beat them. And Indiana executed it perfectly.
Go ahead, G Mike.
Bro, it's just that Indiana, they play so together, right? On both ends of the floor, on offense and defense. They play together. They're just like New York. They don't quit no matter what's going on. They're just going to keep playing. They're going to facilitate the ball. They're going to get to the open man. They're going to create the best possible shot for themselves than the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because the Cleveland Cavaliers, if you watch their offensive play, it's like just watching Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
And then if Donovan Mitchell doesn't create or doesn't make a shot, he'll give it out to someone else, and then they'll get the ball, and it looks like they don't know what to do with it. So they take either a bad shot or a good shot, and they miss because the lack of confidence. And it's just a hellhole for the Cleveland Cavaliers when it comes to this series. And it's been like that for the last few years already with Donovan Mitchell being there. Not putting the blame on him because he's doing what he needs to do. He scored 35 points last game. And then in game 2, he dropped almost a 50 piece, and they still lost, right? But it's the others that got to help. Like Darius Garland, 4 for 16, 0 for 6 and 3, only 11 points in an elimination game. And everybody wants to talk about how great of an all-star he was this year and how good of a chance the Cleveland Cavaliers have because they have a great backcourt that can score at the best of them. No, he only showed up in one game this series, and in the other game that he didn't even play in, his backups didn't even do anything for him because like we mentioned last time, BC wasn't here, but Stevie B and I we were talking about it. How Ty Jerome, you're supposed to be a guy that's supposed to come in and fill in for Darius Garland if he's not playing, and you go 1 for 11 from the field, and you only made 2 points in a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, bro. The Pacers just wanted it more. They're a better offensive team moving the ball around and creating a better shot than the Cleveland Cavaliers are just staying stagnant and waiting for one of their star players to do something. Like, you can't win like that. And then last thing I want to point out here, Max Strus. You went 0 for 9, 0 for 6 from the 3, 0 points in an elimination game, and you were talking about, yo, if you don't believe that we can win, don't come to work. You should have called sick, homie. Should have called sick.
Yep. You look at every single player on the Pacers that were logging starters minutes, not one of them shot under 40% from 3. Yep. Literally, they all shot the lights out. Meanwhile, you go up to Cleveland, everybody that logged starters type minutes, only one person shot over 40% from 3. One person. You are not winning basketball games if you can't hit your shots. I get it. Ball movement. I get it. Being able to create a shot from multiple levels. I get it. But if your shots don't go in, I don't care how much of a bag you got. I believe what was Uncle Drew, famous, great movie, $1 million move, 5-cent finish. I don't care how many tricks you got in your bag. If the ball's not falling in, you are not going to win basketball games, especially not in the playoffs where points are so few and far to come by.
Yeah, Steve, before you go, I just want to mention this. A lot of people were talking about how Tyrese Halliburton is an overrated player and he shouldn't be an all-star. He shouldn't be on the Olympic team. Yada, yada, yada. In a closeout game against the number one seed on the road, 31 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, 10 for 15 from the field, 6 from 10 from 3, and made 5 out of 6 free throws. But he's
Say it
overrated.
louder.
But he's overrated. That's a true
Yeah,
point
no,
guard right there, bro.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's been a Tyrese coming out party, honestly. I think that he's been playing lights out, and I think he's been taking that kind of personal, that whole overrated. I think he's been using that as a motivational tool for him, and I think it's been showing. I think he's been playing lights out. I feel bad for Cleveland, the aspect of like they got a little injured whenever it came to the actual playoffs. Insane kind of thing that happened to them. They had a absolute great regular season. They were super impressive, but I think a lot of people kind of saw the writing on the wall that they just didn't believe in this team. I think people were kind of already expecting them to not necessarily be able to make the Eastern Conference Finals, but I didn't think they were going to get beat like this, 4-1. I do know they had a couple of injuries in there. I think Donovan Mitchell is a great player. I don't think Garland's a bad player. I like what they got in Mobley. You know, like they had what they needed. They had the Coach of the Year. They had Defensive Player of the Year. You know, they had. I think they might have set the franchise record for wins for him. They had, I want to say, like 15 point games or something along those lines. Like they were a damn good regular season team and they had a good playoff run. It's just you came across a team that we've been really preaching this on the show. Team basketball, man, especially playoff time, man. If it's March Madness, we can have a one-man show. But in these series, it matters whenever you guys are on the same page and playing together, man. And Indiana is just playing flat out as a one unit, ready to go. And they have the players to do it. And what I like about Indiana as well is that they have multiple guys that can give you 20 points, and it seems like it's effortless for everybody like that. And it seems like they're all playing as one unit in the aspect of like nobody needs to get like a 40-point game for them to show that they're good. Everybody's sufficient with getting 15 to 20 each player, and then doing it with ease. And if they need to score something else, all right, you take it over. Like they're a very willing and capable team to be on the same page with everybody. So there's very selfless basketball in my opinion, and I love the way they're playing right now. They look fantastic.
Eastern Conference Finals is going to be a very interesting matchup for sure.
Well, yeah, since the game is going on right now, we can give you a live update. You guys got anything else you want to touch on Indiana, Cleveland?
Oh, shooting wins games.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I want is you guys should just answer it quick. You don't have to get into detail, but do the Cleveland Cavaliers dismantle their roster?
Oh man, we do a lot of like the being in the moment and you're making these judgment calls and stuff. I don't really think so, to be honest with you. I kind of like the way they're set up. Sometimes you just go against a better team. The only player I think that you maybe could move would be Garland. I think you maybe move Garland. But I think you keep Donovan Mitchell. I like your bigs that you have. I think you got a good coach. I don't necessarily think you need to do a major drastic change. I don't think it's like a whole drop a bomb and blow up the entire staff. But if you're going to move a piece, I think Garland's the piece that's going to get moved. And if you guys remember too, going into this season, Garland was kind of sort of already unhappy about his role and was talking about he wanted to be more focal point and stuff. Well, maybe this is why you weren't the focal point of the team, So I think if anybody gets moved, it'd be Garland.
Yep. I say get rid of him. Maybe try to trade for 3-and-D type of guard or a 3 maybe or something like that. Somebody that can kind of help take a little bit of the pressure off of Donovan Mitchell, especially on the defensive end. You can kind of let him coast a little bit more. He doesn't have to necessarily try to carry the load on both sides.
I think they need like a Randall, a Julius Randle, or a Siakam, one of those kind of guys that can do it on both ends of the floor to get that little bit of defense, and can also give the scoring as well, just to add to it. I think
that's what they're hoping for with Evan Mobley. They think that they want him to get his offensive game, to the next level, and that's what he's probably going to work on this offseason. So it's going to help out, but. Even then, man, I feel like they should trade away Garland and maybe try to get a forward, a small forward that can score, that can play defense, someone that doesn't have to be an all-star, but that can be a great role player that's going to actually put in work when the playoffs are about to come. Because Garland doesn't show up for the playoffs, bro. And if you want to get past teams like New York, Boston, Indiana, like you need another player that's going to help you score. And Garland, he only shows up in 1 and 2 games. You can't have that in a playoff series, and especially when you're going to go to Game 7. Like you need someone else who's going to be consistent as Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, like, I know we're about to lean into this next game right now, but literally someone came to mind and be a pretty good fit. OG Anunoby, maybe, be nice.
Oh, I was even thinking Aaron Gordon.
I would even go Derek White. Try to get Derek White from the Boston Celtics. That they gotta split their, like we can get into it already, but they gotta split their team up because their cap is like a $500 million. So they need to split up their team. They're not going to be able to keep everybody. So might as well get one of their players.
We'll go ahead and segue into it. We're talking about the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks at the moment right now, and it's the Knicks are up 3-1. Obviously, we'll get into it here now, I guess. The major news was Jason Tatum, Achilles, done for the entire season, man. Done for the playoffs, done possibly until next year. Who knows if he's going to be able to make it back. The Achilles is a very monster of an injury to come back from. We all wish him the speedy recovery. We want one of your best players in the league to be able to come back. But this is major news for the Celtics. And as a live look-in right now, we're at 8:11 to go in the second quarter. The Knicks are up 42-35. PC, is this over?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, maybe Boston finds a way to win at home. I believe they're at home tonight. So yeah, I mean, this might be the last win they get if they're able to come back on their home court. But honestly, just the way the game's been going so far, I don't really see them coming back from this. And I think that it's a wasted opportunity. It's a shame. It really is a shame because for all the corniness for all the stuff that we accuse Jason Tatum of, he's corny. He's like, all the try to manufacture, viral moments and stuff like that. He's still a great player, and to see a great player like that get his season cut short like that in the playoffs, especially when you're down like that, you want to go out with your team. You want to go down fighting with your team. You don't want to be on the bench like that, having to get getting surgery, but. It is what it is. Boston, this is it for them. And hopefully Tatum, like we said, quick, speedy recovery. I don't think they need to rush him back. I think that they need to just take their time with this one. You don't, like you said, Achilles injuries are very serious. And if you rush him back too quickly, you're not just talking about a setback for another year or two. You're talking possibly career ramifications at this point. So take it slow. Don't rush back too soon. Get healthy. And maybe if you're Boston, maybe try to acquire some assets or players that you can have when he's ready to come back.
Yeah, it sucks to see a superstar talent like that go down with an injury like that. And, like we've seen it happen with several players that they don't really recover from it, and their careers goes down the chute. We don't want to see that happen with Tatum. For me, it's always F Boston, but still, don't want to see any type of injury happen to any type of player. You want to see every team with full throttle, especially at this time of the year where playoffs, where you expect to see the superstar talents going up against each other and giving us a series that goes to Game 7. You know what I'm saying? But he goes down. Prayers to him and his family, and he hopefully a speedy recovery, and hopefully he can still have a long career because, like I said, some players don't come back from this.
Yeah, I mean it's an amazing the way sports works, man. Boston, if you would have said that there was a 4-1 or 3-1 lead in the series, and it was the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks, I bet $1,000, maybe $1 million. If you haven't watched one game, you'd have been like, "Oh, Boston Celtics are 3-1, gonna sweep this." I personally said before this started that I thought Boston was gonna sweep it. Possibly New York might get one win just because of the way the regular season was, how Boston just dominated New York so much. And then come playoff time, it just was not the same team. The 3-point shot was not working for them. They refused to change their method. When it works, it worked. When it doesn't, they just see what happens. I think Boston has so much talent on their roster that I am still shocked that it's gone down this way. New York has been playing with a lot of heart, but Boston, I don't know, man. The way they're constructed, I don't know if this. I hate to be that guy that like being in the moment kind of guy like we were saying before. But this just doesn't seem like it works. They have to get younger or something, man. This second round playoffs, I think, really shown that the Celtics, as well as they can play and as well as they are, it may not be the way this team needs to be constructed, man. Would you guys make any moves, or especially because you brought it up already? They're in really bad cap shape. Like, what do you even do?
I mean, like G Mike said, getting Derek White off the books, maybe trying to get Darius Garland in his place. I mean, he's going off right now in this game. He's got 16 points. So, I mean, he's making a great case for himself right there. That'd be a good pairing with D Mitch, but that, honestly, it's probably the first person I look to. Maybe Drew Holiday, as an option to Al Horford. I love Al Horford, Florida boy, go Gators, everything. But he, he's getting up there in age, and it's like, how much more do you want to commit to him as well?
I think I kind of disagree. I think that their roster is constructed well to win championships for multiple years, right? It's just that they went away from playing good offensive team basketball to just looking at analytic numbers and be like, yo, you know what? If we put up so many threes, no team is going to beat us because we're just going to be raining threes and we're just going to be making them. Well, you live and die by the three, and that's what's been happening in this series.
Yep.
New York's been playing great togetherness basketball. They've been moving the ball around. They've been driving into the paint. They've been shooting the three. They've been creating fouls to get to the free throw line, while the Boston Celtics have been pulling up from three, and that's it. They're not doing anything else. So teams are going to figure that out. And if you're not playing true basketball and just trying to play in the flow of the game, and you're trying to play analytically, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. It's gonna catch up to you soon, and now it's catching up to them. And even in this game, the Knicks have only shot 15 3-pointers, while the Celtics have shot already 20 3-pointers. The Knicks have gone to the free throw line 12 times, while the Celtics have only gone there 8. It's a close game right now, yes, but you have two players for the Boston Celtics that are going off right now while everybody else is just watching. While the whole Knicks team is playing together, you got Mikal Bridges 7 points, Karl-Anthony Towns 8 points, Jalen Brunson 11 points, Josh Hart 6 points, Mitchell Robinson off the bench 6 points, Miles McBride off the bench 8 points. Togetherness basketball. That's how you win. And especially if you're trying to go to the paint, you're trying to shoot mid-ranges, you're trying to shoot threes, you're trying to get free throws, you're trying to do everything in your offensive arsenal to win the game instead of just pulling up to the three-point line and we're going to hope and pray that these go in. You're not going to win like that, bro. And this is why the Knicks are up 3-1.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I think that's the point of this entire series. It's that the Celtics I think it's one of those things when it's on. It works. They can blow you out. But the whole point is if it's not working, then change it up. Have the smartness to go, okay, hey, man, we've missed 7 straight threes. Maybe make two twos and get a little bit of something going, Like, I think that the living die by the three is when it works, it's a great thing. But otherwise, it doesn't work all the time. So if it's off, then change your game plan. It's the playoffs. You only get X amount of games to make this work. It's the wrong time to start hitting a losing streak.
You got to be flexible. And again, for all the stuff that I mentioned about being able to shoot threes and everything like that in the modern NBA, like you guys said, it's not the be-all and end-all. There's got to be a balance. Just like you got to be able to slow it down and attack the rim and be able to hit from mid-range, you got to also be able to hit threes. So you got to find balance. And like G. Mike alluded to, Boston had great balance on their team earlier like last year. This year, they just keep hitting spam button from three, and it's backfiring. We're seeing what happens when you have an offense that can be an all-time great offense, but you're getting away from what makes you great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I agree.
The first 2 games, they're up by 20 points, and then they start silly gagging and lollygagging and all this stuff. Let's just keep shooting threes and whatever. It's like at that point in the game, you're up 20 points. Okay, guys, this is what we're gonna do, right? Come out halftime, this is what we're going to do. We're going to buckle down on defense, focus so much on defense so that they don't score. And then when we get the ball on offense, run some simple pick and rolls. Let's get some mid-range shots. Let's get to the basket. And we'll finish this game winning by 12 or 15 points. But no, they come down. They start playing lackluster defense. The New York Knicks, they don't quit. They start coming down, being aggressive, and they get into the paint. They get free throws, and then next thing you know, on the offensive side for the Boston Celtics, they're still trying to chuck up threes, and now they're missing because the momentum has shifted.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's a simple thing, too, is you have a shot clock for a reason and use some of that time, man. Where's that clock down and make a couple twos? it's still points, and that gives them less opportunity to score as well. Make the New York Knicks the ones that have to shoot the threes, and make you guys the ones that, okay, hey, we know we can make our threes, and we have to fall back on that to if we start catching back up, to get up by 9. Okay, hey, maybe let's maybe take a couple threes, maybe build this lead up a little bit again. But if you're up by 20 and you have all that shot clock time, man, just run the clock down a little bit, make a couple of mid-range shots, maybe drop the lane, get somebody in foul trouble at that point because they have to play more aggressive. They're just not doing any of that. And it's just odd to me that they're such a well-organized, well-coached team, and it's just not working out at all, man.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen teams overachieve so much in this league, especially when they get to the postseason. This is one of the rare cases where I've seen a team underachieve this badly in terms of like what Boston's doing. It kind of pisses you off at times. It's like, you're better than this. You're so much better than this. Even before Tatum went down, like when Tatum went down, that was pretty much the nail in the coffin. When he was still there, it's like, okay, there's still a chance they can right the ship. They just need to kind of change course. Now it's like too late. Now, not only did you now miss out on a chance to win this year, but next year as well. Kind of screwed.
Yeah, well, as a live update, and while we're on live with you guys, we'll try to give you guys updates as much as we can. It's right now sitting at 216, and the second, it's a 55-54 New York Knicks lead. We are going to go ahead, and that's going to wrap it up for the East on this side, and we're going to move out to the West, where the West has had some interesting games. We're going to go ahead and start up top there with the Oklahoma City and Denver Nuggets, and this has definitely been, in the East, the best series. It's been a lot of fun. The Oklahoma City Thunder are up 3-2, even after Jokic had a hell of a game last game. The Oklahoma City Thunder came out and was able to pull it off and get the win. G-Mike, man. Is this it for the Thunder? Are they finally met their match and that's it, or what, man? What do you think about this one?
No. What do you mean? Like if the Oklahoma is not moving on?
No. I mean the opposite. I'm meaning that I think is this finally what Oklahoma is finally put the nail in the coffin kind of thing. They only need one more and they got this over. I honestly thought this last game, I thought Denver was going to win. When I was watching the game, this is the way Denver looked like they were playing. I thought Denver was going to win, and then it kind of went Oklahoma City's way in the end. I was more or less asking, do you think that this is it for Oklahoma City, meaning the fact that they're going to advance, like Denver's done?
No, I think it goes game 7 because Denver plays a lot better at home, and it's been a back and forth series the whole time. It's never, it hasn't been like one team has been super dominant. Obviously, in game 2, Oklahoma City had made a statement and they won by like 30, 40 points, whatever the case was. But overall, the series has been back and forth, and I think that Denver can win the next game, especially when role players play great at home. You know that the air quality over there is different. You know they're high up in altitude, so that does make a difference for OKC. You're never gonna really get used to that unless you live there. So it's gonna be a different atmosphere. I think Denver can pull it off. The thing with it though is that the role players need to show up for Denver, man. Like Jokic is doing what he needs to do: 44 points, 15 rebounds, 17 for 25 from the field, 5 for 7 from 3. Nikola Jokic, wow. Jamal Murray, he didn't have a good 3-point shooting night, but he had a good shooting night from the field. He had 28 points. He had 10 made shots. Aaron Gordon got 13 points. He's got to up that to 15 to 20. But Michael Porter Jr., man, where are you? Where are you? Because you're nowhere to be found. 1 for 7, 0 for 5 from 3. You're supposed to be a 3-point sniper for the team. Only 2 points. Played 29 minutes and you barely did anything out there. And then for everybody else, everybody had like 3 or 4 points when it came to the team itself. When you're playing against a great number 1 seed in the Oklahoma City Thunder that play all around team basketball, you're not going to win like that. You need some more offensive additions from your role players. And Jokic and Jamal Murray can't do it all, man. Aaron Gordon needs to step up a little bit more. Yeah, you've made 2 buzzer beaters in the playoffs that help your team win games, but they need you for all the series, not just sometimes.
Porter is injured, though, with the shoulder, though. So I give him a little bit of slack on that one, though. Porter does have that shoulder injury, but still, I agree with what you're saying, though.
Well, I mean, even prior, though, to the shoulder injury, like putting up 7 points, shooting under 30 from both the field and from beyond the arc, that's not good numbers. I mean, I will push back a little bit, though, with AG. He's averaging 16 a night. He's got almost 10 boards. He's averaging almost a double-double on 46 from the field and 48 from three. Like that's, I would say, like he's having a good series. And like you said, he had 2 buzzer beaters in the playoffs. So I wouldn't necessarily direct it at Gordon. I would say everybody else though, on Denver definitely does need to step it up. But again, we have talked about it pretty much in almost every series. We are seeing how team-oriented basketball, where teams that are able to get multiple multiple scores from multiple looks, multiple players, that is what's going to take you far in this series. And just looking at it, again, I don't mean to be this simplistic with it, but it really is making the difference. And Denver's got 4 guys that are in double figures, whereas OKC has 7. And one of them is only playing 13 minutes a night. So, with AJ Mitchell, shout out to him. So the fact that, again, you're getting so much variety, so much ability to look outside of just your star player and Shea, but everyone else has stepped up and been able to do their thing. Like that's what we're seeing winning basketball games here at this point in the season.
Another thing I want to point out before Steve goes, you can't be letting a team score 34 points in the fourth quarter. You can't. Like, yeah. I don't know how you expect to win a game like that when you let another team score 34 points in the fourth quarter. I get it in the second quarter and the third quarter coming out of halftime, the momentum changes and stuff like that. Obviously, there's some plays are being drawn up, a lot of adjustments. But in the fourth quarter, I don't know, man. 34 points, that's a lot.
Yeah, fourth quarter execution is extremely good, and that has come back multiple times in this playoff and multiple games in these playoffs. These guys have been blowing these leads; they'll end up going up, and then they end up blowing these leads. So yeah, I completely agree. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. You can't let another team score 34 points in the fourth quarter. I don't think there's much else to say about that one, man. Just as a quick live look in, we have halftime officially with the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. We are tied at 59 apiece. All right, fellas. So you guys have Denver winning the next game to make it a 7-game series. BCU.
I'm gonna buck against the trend real quick just to play devil's advocate. I'm gonna say no. I think OKC makes a statement. They get one because if this goes to Game 7, I don't think that they are able to accomplish much. But I think OKC shocks everybody. They pull it out on the road and they're able to show everybody this is their time.
I'm going to OKC wins the next game as well. I think OKC closes it out and moves on to the next round.
Western Conference Finals.
And G-Mike, you're going that Denver is going to get the next game and go to Game 7?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, let's hope, man, because that's always fun, man. Game 7. All right, so we got one more series that is going on at the moment, and it is coming up. I believe they're playing tonight, if I remember correctly. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors. The Minnesota Timberwolves are up 3-1 over Golden State. G-Mike, my man. Wow, this one, Steph being out, this is major, man. If we've talked about it in the past with Steph, and unfortunately, he got hurt with that was a hamstring, I believe it is, and there's no timetable with that. I believe he's supposed to possibly come back this next game. Steph is an amazing player, but hamstrings, you can maybe play 3 minutes or you can play 40 minutes. It's so tough to say how it's going to aggravate it. And then what the other problem is too, you re-aggravate it. Is he on a minutes restriction? Is he going to be on a minutes restriction this game? Because if they win, they obviously have to keep on going on the Game 7, and you can't have them hobbling around in that either. So. G-Mike, what's your thoughts on this one, buddy? Man, we got Minnesota up 3-1.
If Curry comes back, I don't think he's going to be on a minutes restriction. It's the playoffs. He's gonna want to play every single minute that he can be out there. Obviously, you need some rest because to get your energy going. But if he plays, I think it's going to be Game 6. It's not going to be tonight, if that. But honestly, man, like. It just depends on Minnesota comes out because I think Minnesota can close it out tonight. But the thing is that closing out on the road for role players is very, very tough. The star players are going to show out. Julius Randle's going to show out. Anthony Edwards is going to show out. But you need the others, right? And Jaden McDaniels didn't do work on the road. And actually, they're playing at home, no? Are they playing at home?
Yeah, it's Game 5.
Minnesota. Yeah, no, you're playing Minnesota.
Oh. Scratch that. Delete all that. Timberwolves taking it tonight. Role players are coming out, and that's
Take 2.
Curry is not gonna play again. I'm sorry, Curry. I wish you were out there, man. Jimmy, You did not do what you need to do last game. You only scored 14 points last game. When you're the star player on the court and you got no one else to help you score the rock, you need to be out there scoring 50 points like you did for the Miami Heat, man. But Timberwolves, they're going to take it. They're going to close it out tonight. They're playing at home. I just think Anthony Edwards is going to go ballistic. Julius Randle's going to have a great game. And maybe Jaden McDaniels will probably put up 15 to 20 points.
I think this one comes out of a healthy Steph. If Steph was healthy, I would still pick Golden State even if they're down 3-1. The fact that Steph's a little bit hobbled, it's tough to pick against the younger clique. They're on a mission right now. They've been knocking off all these legends. And LeBron now it's gonna be Steph. I think Minnesota will probably be able to take this next game, and it just comes down to healthy Steph. That really comes in. I still would have believed in Golden State if he was able to play at his full strength.
Yeah, we're seeing again. This is looking eerily similar to Boston, New York, right here. You're losing your superstar, and everything's going downhill since then. Honestly, the way Minnesota's been playing, can we call these guys the Legend Killers? A little bit of WWE reference right there. Anybody who used to watch like mid 2000s Randy Orton Legend Killers? It works. Legend Killer Minnesota Timberwolves.
It's a little bit of that going on, but
I got Minnesota though taking this one. I think this one is pretty much just going to be by around 10, at least by 10. So I got Minnesota winning in Game 5, and they're moving on to Western Conference Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one too. I think this one's pretty much it's over with at this point. If Steph can't play the way Steph normally plays, I have to go with Golden State. I have to go with Minnesota for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, I think that's going to wrap it up as far as the NBA playoffs. We're at halftime at the current moment in the New York Knicks game, and so we are going to have a little bit of fun and do our down bad debate. All right, fellas, we have a fun down bad.
DC dancing in the background, but he don't dance.
Y'all can't see it. Y'all can't see it. That's why I do it.
What goes on in the background stays in the background, man.
Exactly, man. Well, exactly.
All right, so if you guys cannot see this on the screen, we'll break it down for you like we always do. We have a fun one for you here, the Down Bad Debate. We all debate on these topics. A lot of these things come from the internet, and we're just trying to have a little fun with you guys out there. We love to hear you guys comment on these as well. Which two players in the NBA make the best duo? We got Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kevin Durant, LeBron James and Steph Curry, LaMelo Ball and Zion Williamson, Anthony Edwards and Victor Wembanyama, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Donovan Mitchell, and last but not least, Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. Mr. BC, you are up top, my man. You are going first.
Oh, man, this is a tough one right here.
Can we choose the worst one after?
Yeah, I'm game for that. I already have my pick for worst one.
Yeah, I think that was pretty easy.
Me too. I think we all have the same one for worst.
Let's just go first with that one. It's got to be LaMelo and Zion, correct?
It's got to be LaMelo and Zion. 100% the worst duo.
I was going to say, though, in second place, not far behind, I would put Shai and Donovan Mitchell. Two guards as a duo. Come on.
Yeah, but two guards that can put up 50. They can literally put 100 each.
I don't know, man, but they don't give you much else. I am going to try to make my pick. This is, oh my gosh, this is incredibly tough. I'm going to try to say based on whose play styles I think mesh the best together before I say anything. Old heads will probably love me. Younger viewers are probably going to hate me. I don't care. Give me LeBron and Steph. Like, we've seen them before in all-star games. Like, they've had that wink and nod towards each other. You've got LeBron's amazing passing, playmaking skills. You've got his ability to barrel to the rim at will, combined with the greatest shooter of all time, who gives you so much off-ball gravity, so much ball movement. That's just my pick right there. Close second would probably be Giannis and KD, just because of the length and the scoring ability and defense as well.
See, I'm going to go against you in this one, and I kind of liked what you thought was one of the worst ones. I'm going to go SGA and Donovan Mitchell. I think in this style of NBA that we're playing right now, you have two dominant guards that could just score at will on these guys. I love the Luka and the Nikola Jokic, but I don't know. I think there'd just be too many nice passes, and eventually he's going to miss, I love Steph and LeBron. I think that one's a great combo right there. But I think in the way the style of the NBA is right now, I'm going to go with SGA and Donovan Mitchell.
Guys. There's only one correct answer here, bro, and it's Anthony Edwards and Victor
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
Wembanyama,
good one
bro.
too. That's a good
Dude,
one too.
both two great defenders and offensive players. I think Wemby will go down if healthy. If healthy, he will go down as the best defensive player in NBA history. Like it's already, you already see it in the stats. How crazy he is when it comes to blocking
Should
and
have won
defensive
last year.
rebounding and playing in the in the interior with Anthony Edwards as well, that he could score at will. He can play in the perimeter. He could stop any guard from scoring. I don't know, bro. I'm taking those two. I don't think no one can stop those two if they're together on the team.
You ain't wrong.
yeah, that was gonna, yeah, that was gonna be a good pick. That was definitely a pick there because, like, how are you gonna defend? None of these guys can. Jokic, by pie, or no, I take that back. Giannis and LeBron could handle Victor Wembanyama down in the post. I'm just trying to think who are you gonna have him be able to defend him is my question. I couldn't get that out. I'm sorry. I couldn't imagine who's going to be able to defend him down there, but LeBron and Giannis could probably take care of that one down there. But yeah, I don't know, man. That would be interesting. That'd be very, very interesting. I think that SGA and Donovan Mitchell kind of would match up pretty decently with that one, just for the aspect of being able to guard Anthony Edwards. But the X factor in that whole thing comes down to Wemby.
Yeah. I just love two-way players. Me, I don't like just one side. Like I don't like a player that just plays all defense, or I don't like a player that just plays all offense. I like players that play both ways. And to me, that is the best duo when it comes to both way play. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
No diddy.
Yeah. I just like the offensive synergy. I think that Steph and LeBron play with. And again, we've seen those two like how many times like it's been hyped, like, oh, imagine if they play together. It's like it would be an all-time, probably the greatest duo to ever, well, obviously we're not talking right now. Probably in my opinion, it'd be the greatest duo of all time. If you pick those two, they're just because the play styles mesh so well. So
All right, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take SGA and Donovan Mitchell. I think they fit today's NBA very, very well, the way their style of play. I feel like they can get to the line. I love their scoring abilities. SGA is still a really good defender as well as a great scorer, and Donovan Mitchell can easily drop buckets on pretty much anybody, so that's why I'd be taking SGA and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I got Anthony Edwards and Victor Wembanyama because no one's scoring in the paint on Victor, and no one's stopping him from scoring the rock either. Anthony Edwards, you can already tell no one can cover him on the perimeter or even driving to the basket, and he's a great two-way player.
I think that's a pretty fun one. That's going to get. There's a lot of stylistic players in there that they can play a little bit different. You can run mix and match with a few of those guys. So I think that you're on the right track as well. I don't think that's a horrible pick at all. And I think everybody has their own little thing. Steph and LeBron would be interesting, and always just fun to be able to get the chance to see that. All right, fellas. Well, I think that is going to wrap it up for us for another episode of Views from the Stands. I can't believe we're at number 43. We really appreciate all the love and support. Please give us a like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mailman. I don't care who else you tell. Just tell somebody, please. Pass it along and get it out there. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Spotify. We are going to be on G-Mike. If you can help me out with this a little bit. We just started with another company. G-Mike, why don't you explain that one for us a little bit?
Yes, sir. Guys, we're being promoted on the podcast network, so you'll see our podcast there as well. So we're trying to get our podcast on all podcast platforms for you guys to listen to. It doesn't just have to be Spotify. Trying to get it on Apple, iHeart, podcast network, and other places, that can help us out and sponsor us. We appreciate them, and we just want to keep putting in this work each and every day.
Absolutely, man. So that's big news for us. So check us out on there and everywhere else we mentioned before. We really, truly appreciate it. BC, you got anything for the people before we head out?
Hey, man, what this game tonight, New York, Boston. I got Nick. This tie is about as close as it's gonna get. Nick's about to blow the doors off the second half. Predictions.
Uh-oh.
Call me out. Call me out if I'm wrong.
G-Mike, got anything before we sign off, my man?
Yeah, guys, please leave a like and subscribe and share with your family and friends. We would really appreciate that. We're trying to get our subscribers up. We're trying to get our comments up. We're trying to get everything up when it comes to the show. If you guys are watching the live episode, please do not be scared to write in the comments. Make fun of BC's hair. Make fun of my beard. Make fun of Steve's face. It doesn't matter. Just say anything in the comments so we can get you up and going. If you have any questions, we'll put out up on the screen. Any comments, we'll put it up on the screen. Or if you want to be on that actual show, just hit us up on one of our socials and we'll get you going. We'll get you on an episode with us.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out. It is one of my favorite times of the year. Welcome to Rockville is going on to Daytona Beach this weekend, so I will be definitely getting my rock on for the next few days.
Degenerate.
Cannot wait. If I see you out there, I'll see you in the pit. That's going to wrap us up for us, my man. For G Mike, for Mr. BC, I am Stevie B, Steve Brennan, and this is Views from the Stands. We are out.
Peace.